Labour declares 14-day nationwide strike. Bandits threaten to remarry abducted Katsina bride, sell 63 captives. 12 new reps take oaths of office, allegiance. On the foreign scene, Gazans living in daily hell, according to United Nations Secretary General. Hello and welcome to the Trust TV News Update at this hour. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for joining us. The organized labor consisting of the Nigerian Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress of Nigeria have issued a 14-day nationwide strike notice to the federal government. The strike, according to the Congresses, takes effect tomorrow, February 9. At the security matters, residents of Gamji village in Sabua local government area are passionately appealing to Katsina state government to hasten efforts in rescuing their relatives from the hands of bandits. The residents, who said the threat issued by the bandits to marry their daughters off is not a joke, and are appealing to the state government to settle the 100 million naira ransom the bandits are demanding to have their loved ones released. We earlier spoke to Trust TV's news reporter in Katsina State, who gave us an update.
Well, during a visit to Gamji village in Sabo local government, where the 63 kidnapped victims came from, it's like almost all the residents are wearing gloomy faces. Gamji is a community with over 10,000 people, but very few were seen outside, largely due to the trauma they are going through following the abduction of their relatives. Some of the residents we saw are seriously disturbed and confused, saying they were really touched by the condition they saw their relatives in a viral video released by the bandits recently. Anywhere in the community you see 2 or 3 people, what they are discussing is the condition of their loved ones in the hands of the bandits. One of the residents who preferred not to be mentioned for security purposes said the demand, or rather the amount the bandits are demanding is too much for them to bear, as they don't have any means through which they can mobilize 100 million naira to secure the release of their relatives. So he appeals to Katsina state government to, as a matter of urgency, look into their plight and settle the 100 million naira ransom, at least to have their relatives released. On this demand by the resident of Gamji village, I tried contacting Katsina state government through the Commissioner of Security, Internal Security and Home Affairs, Nasiru Ma'azu Musa, who said the government neither engaged the bandits in any negotiation or pay ransom, and the government is, however, not in support of payment of any ransom to any bandit. The commissioner also assured that efforts are ongoing. Efforts are being intensified to rescue the victims unhurt, calling on Gamji residents to exercise patience, reassuring them that they will soon be reunited with their loved ones, saying that there are a lot of efforts being made by the government to see that the issue of the kidnapped victims they are rescued and hurt. The 63 kidnapped victims, if you could recall, were abducted about a week ago while escorting a bride to her matrimonial home on Sabwa Damari Road in Katsina State. And of course, this is the situation on the ground. And like you heard, the government is making efforts to ensure that kidnapped victims, not only in Gamji of Sabwa local government, but across locations in Katsina State, rescued and hurt. So that is the situation.
Still on security matters, and now to Bauchi State. The 9 youth from Kirfi local government area of Bauchi who were declared missing in Plateau State have been found in Jos. The chairman of Kirfi Local Government Council, Abdulkadir Umar Deu, confirmed that the young men had been found. He said they were arrested by Operation Safe Haven, maintaining peace in the state. According to him, they were released 4 days after they were detained by the military. The Nigeria Immigration Service says it has rescued 3 victims of human trafficking in Jigawa. The NIS controller in the state, Samson Agada, said this at a press conference in TUC on Wednesday. He said personnel of the service intercepted the victims on Tuesday at about 11 a.m. at the Samiyar Ilu checkpoint in Kazore local government area of the state. Agada said the victims, who are indigenes of Kogi State, include Ahmed Ibrahim, Ibrahim Rafatu, and Nafisa Jibril. And now to the southeastern part of the country. The secretariat of the Dunukofia Council in Dunukofia local government area of Anambra State was on Wednesday night gutted by fire. The inferno, which occurred around 7 p.m., was said to be caused by a bush burning. An eyewitness said the fire would have escalated if not for the quick response of firefighters who arrived at the scene shortly. State Fire Service Chief Martin Agbili confirmed the incident, saying no life was lost. The federal government has reassured Nigerians of its commitment to addressing the soaring food prices by releasing food items from the National Food Reserves. Speaking after the meeting of the Special Presidential Committee on Emergency Food Intervention convened at the instance of President Bola Tinubu, Minister of Information and National Orientation, Mohammed Idris, highlighted the government's strategy to tackle the issue. The meeting, chaired by Chief of Staff to the President, Femi Gbajabiamila, and attended by National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, aimed to mitigate the impact of rising food prices in the country. Idris emphasized that the government would engage major millers and commodity traders to ensure the availability of food items in the market, thus alleviating the burden on consumers. And now to political matters. The Independent National Electoral Commission on Wednesday issued certificates of return to winners of Saturday's rerun and by-elections. This past week, the Independent National Electoral Commission conducted legislative by-elections and rerun elections across the 26 states of the country. At the end of the election exercise, 7 political parties won seats in both the national and state houses of assembly.
The certificate presentations was conducted by the Independent National Electoral Commission's national commissioners, representing each of the states where the rerun and by-elections were conducted and winners declared by the commission. The senators elected were presented with the certificates of return at INEC headquarters in Abuja, and they include Professor Anthony Okore, Ebonyi South Senatorial District on the platform of the APC, Pam Dachung, Plateau North Senatorial District, ADP, and Mustafa Musa, Yobe East Senatorial District on the platform of the APC. Members-elect of the House of Representatives were also issued with a certificate of return, and they include Ifeanyi Ozokwe, Nnewi North, Nnewi South, on the platform of the YPP, Clara Ndabuefe of Orumba North, Orumba South Federal Constituency, also on the platform of the YPP. Others include Ehindero Babatunde, Akoko Northeast, Akoko Northwest Federal Constituency from Ondo State on the platform of the APC, and Daniel Ago, Jos North, Basa Federal Constituency on the platform of the Labour Party. Speaking to newsmen shortly after collecting his certificate of return, Dachung Pam expressed excitement over his election victory while promising to help tackle the insecurity on the plateau.
It's completely a plateau project, and the northern senatorial part of Plateau has instigated a project. I remember talking to the governor. He commissioned us to come and represent the good people of Plateau and said we don't represent only our party, but the priority is Plateau. and he named the TUC team Plateau People's Party. So we're coming here for a Plateau project. We're coming here to make sure we uphold the northern part of Plateau and to make sure we try to stabilize everybody. Our priority now will be peace. Our priority now will be to settle all the conflicts. We want to tag along with our governor to tackle the insecurity issues to the best that we can. We'll put our voice and our efforts together to bring Plateau back to the name that it has, the home of peace and tourism.
For Okorie Ani, he dedicated his election victory to the people of Ebonyi South while promising to give them the good representation they deserve.
Under a free and a fair election conducted by INEC. So we are here to collect their certificate of return and also to appreciate INEC for conducting a free and fair election. At the same time, also to thank the security agencies in the manner that they provided the atmosphere that gave birth to this conducive environment.
The election umpire has set February 14 for the conduct of the postponed rerun elections in Taraba, Kano, and Enugu states.
Meanwhile, 12 new members representing various federal constituencies on Thursday took their oath of office and allegiance following their victories in last Saturday's parliamentary rerun elections. Although a total of 15 candidates were victorious at the polls, 12 winners were on the floor of the House for their swearing in at a session presided over by the Speaker of the House, Mr. Abbas Tajuddin. Of the 15, 7 are of the All Progressives Congress, 5 from the People's Democratic Party, 3 from the Young Progressives Party, and 1 from the Labour Party. The new lawmakers were accompanied to the National Assembly complex by family members, friends, and political associates. The governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Zulum, has said his administration will end the lingering conflicts between farmers and herders in the state. He stated this during the inauguration of 3 committees at the state government house chambers in Maiduguri. The committees include the reconstruction and resettlement of displaced persons from neighboring Bama local government, another committee to investigate the root causes of farmers and herders' crisis, and a committee on maintenance and installation of street lights in Maiduguri metropolis and Jere local government area. He charged the committees on farmers-herders conflict to identify cattle grazing routes and prefer solutions that will avert future reoccurrence.
We have no business in allowing our animals going to other states, causing havoc to our neighboring states and arresting them and all such kind of things. And then the grazing reserves are also very important. We can document them and then ensure that people will do also ranching in the grazing reserves. But no state before them has the highest number of livestock in the country. But as a result of the insurgency, the numbers of our livestock have diminished. And there is a need for us to now see how we regain our lost glory. So thank you very much and good.
We thank you most sincerely for finding us worthy for this assignment. And we want to assure you that we will put in our utmost best to achieve desired targets. Thank you very much, sir.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Still to come. Bayelsa residents decry hike in price of sachet water. Details of this story and more to come after the break. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
We started manufacturing leather since 1958. But the most important thing is that if the system is checked correctly, we won't have where we are now.
If somebody has depression, they may just be very irritable and unproductive in the office. So you find on average already about 1 in 4, 1 in 5 Nigerians already have a mental illness, a mental health condition that needs some form of attention.
No matter how good an economy is, if the federal government goes bust, believe me, everything in the economy is just a matter of time it will go bust. So first of all, about maybe slightly above, below 70% is in federal government securities.
If government has banned importation of fertilizer and states are doing it at the level of governance, but I believe that production and distribution of fertilizer should be left to the private sector.
This is the general multi-purpose card, and it has a chip here. So this chip is about 80 kilobytes. The one that you get from the bank for ATM is just 4 kilobytes. So this is like 20 times.
Welcome back, and thank you so much for staying with us. But if you're just joining us, this is the news update on Trust TV. Now let's take a look at a recap of some of our top stories. We told you that Labour declares 14-day nationwide strike. Bandits threaten to remarry abducted casino bride, sell 63 captives. And now moving on to more stories. The Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria has decried the proliferation of protocol services at the Murtala Muhammad International Airport, Lagos. The agency urged other agencies of government to work with the existing protocol services at the airport instead of bringing their own protocols. The Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of FAN, Olubumi Koko, who stated this, said it should be stopped immediately as it contravenes Executive Order 001 of 2017 of the federal government and undermines protocol activities of FAN Protocol Unit and that of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Residents of Yenagoa, the Bayelsa state capital, are lamenting over high cost of sachet water, popularly known as pure water. They said the sudden increase in the price of pure water is affecting them deeply. Trust TV's correspondent Friday Ebimobowe Peter reports.
The packaged water, popularly known as pure water, which was sold at a rate of 250 naira, has suddenly increased to 500 naira per bag in Yenagoa. Residents say they are surprised at the increase. They, however, call on the federal and state government to come to their aid.
2019, 2020, one sachet of water was sold at the rate of 5 naira. In Assam, then in 2023 too, one sachet of pure water was sold at the rate of 10 naira. But suddenly, 2024, in this January, as consumers, we are surprised to see that the bag of sachet of water is now 400 naira.
I have 7 children. When they come from school now, the children now, they go play small like this. They don't go pick one water. Small and that's come. This water not be like that before again. No. One pure water now 30 naira. I even wonder yesterday when I come go market, they say one pure water 50 naira. What's in happen? And the way we they get money, increase again. Why our water can't they increase? Now water don't dry for this life, not before grand the water they come up. What made the water they cost? They won't kill us. I beg government, make them try find something to do for this, especially this water matter.
Also speaking, some concerned citizens said ordinarily Bayelsans are not supposed to be suffering from potable drinking water because the state water board under the Ministry of Water Resources has failed in its duty. They, however, call on the state government to come up with policies to regulate the market price.
Those of us that are dwelling in Bayelsa State begin to buy water at the rate of 450 per bag is alarming. See, there are times government come into issues and control market price, and that is what we are calling on him. Look into the area of water. Water is a necessity and is one of the basic amenities that we needed for, and that is one of the things we voted for.
The budget procedures for government to ensure that the budget provisions are utilized. Government is a building block. And if every year monies are made available for the water and use of water resources, and the monies are utilized adequately, then we have gradually would have made a laudable landmark. But for the fact that the monies are not used judiciously, we have not seen the kind of contribution for the entire state.
The sudden increase in sachet water is not only affecting Bayelsa State, but also the neighboring state. From Yenagoa, Friday Ebimobowe Peter. Trust TV News, Yenagwa.
In a move to reduce the pressure on the Naira, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has raised a 7,000-man special task force across its 14 zonal command to clamp down on dollar racketeers. The spokesperson for the anti-graft agency, Dele Oyewale, in a statement on Wednesday in Abuja, said the commission had summoned the proprietors of private universities and other schools charging tuition in dollars. The governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Olayemi Cardoso, who appeared before the House of Representatives on Tuesday, disclosed that Nigerians spent $98 billion in 10 years on foreign education, healthcare, and personal travels, which had impacted the Naira. He spoke against the backdrop of the central bank's battle to stabilize the exchange rate amid dollar shortage. According to him, factors contributing to this situation include speculative forex demand, inadequate forex due to low remittance of crude oil earnings to the CBN, increased capital outflows, and excess liquidity from fiscal activities. We'll take it away from Nigeria now. The United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres addressed the UN General Assembly on Wednesday, highlighting the dire situation faced by millions trapped in conflicts worldwide. He emphasized the urgent need for peace, stressing that record numbers of people are fleeing their homes in search of safety. Guterres expressed particular concern about the Israel-Hamas conflict, warning against further escalation and the potential humanitarian catastrophe in Rafah. He also mentioned other global hotspots in Ukraine, Africa, and Asia.
For millions of people caught up in conflict around the world, life is a deadly, daily, hungry hell. Record numbers are fleeing their homes in search of safety, and they are crying out for peace, and we must hear them and act. In the immediate term, we must continue to push for peace across the globe. The situation in Gaza is a festering wound on our collective conscience that threatens the entire region. The fighting must stop in Sudan before it destroys even more lives and spreads. And in Libya, while a ceasefire holds, the Libyan people deserve sustained peace and stability, starting with a commitment to free and fair elections. In Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, I call on all armed groups to lay down their weapons, and I urge regional leaders to prioritize dialogue over conflict. In Yemen, I appeal to all parties to focus on the path to peace and also to de-escalate tensions in the Red Sea based on the principle of freedom of navigation.
Still on the international scene, a senior commander of an Iran-backed militia has been killed in a U.S. drone strike in Baghdad. The leader of Kataib Hezbollah and two of his guards were in a vehicle when it was targeted in the east of the Iraqi capital. The Pentagon said the commander was responsible for directing attacks on American forces in the region. The U.S. has linked the militia to a drone attack in Jordan that killed 3 U.S. troops last month. In sports, the interim coach of the Elephant of Cote d'Ivoire, Emerson Faye, has acknowledged the strength of Nigeria's Super Eagles following the team's victory over South Africa in the semi-finals of the ongoing AFCON. Faye was elevated to the interim manager of the team after Jean-Louis Gasset was sacked following the embarrassing 4-0 defeat to Equatorial Guinea. Since his appointment, the Elephant has revitalized their hope of winning the African Cup of Nations in home soil. While speaking to Omar Sports TV, Faye recognized the Super Eagles' defensive solidity and team spirit as the main strength of the Nigerians. The Ivorians lost by a lone goal to Nigeria in the second group match. Meanwhile, the head coach of the Bafana Bafana of South Africa, Hugo Broos, has admitted that their defeat to Nigeria was a big disappointment. The 1996 champions lost to Nigeria's Super Eagles in a penalty shootout after the regulation time ended 1-1. Bruce said they played a good game against Nigeria and further said he was proud of his team. And to a sad development, a former member of the House of Representatives who represented the Ika Federal Constituency of Delta State, Cairo Ojogbo, is dead. The politician was said to have passed away on Wednesday evening while watching the AFCON semi-finals match between Nigeria and South Africa. Ojogbo was said to have shouted and slumped due to massive heart attack when South Africa scored. His family is yet to issue a statement on his death. And that concludes this news update at this hour. But remember, you can always follow us across all of our social media platforms and also join our YouTube live stream for more news, programs, and documentary. I'm Aisha Salihu. Thank you so much for your time.